If you have forward head posture, then undoubtedly you've seen the chin tuck exercise as a commonly recommended fix for it. But those exercises are not an optimal long-term fix in most cases. They're missing something very important. Forward head posture is a total body problem. It is not just something isolated at the head or the neck, but unfortunately so much of the advice out there on YouTube is so concentrated on just the head and the neck, and it misses the boat entirely on the rest of the body's influence on it. Now, I'm not saying chin tuck exercises are entirely useless. There is a time and a place for everything. But if we're really trying to fix forward head posture, here are some things that are, in my opinion and experience, significantly more important. Forward head posture is an airway and airflow problem and strategy to manage the airway. It is not like the body just woke up one day and decided to shove the head forward. It's doing that in an attempt to create more space for us to bring in air, because breathing is extremely important for survival. And chin tuck exercises, at least how I commonly see them done and taught on YouTube, are just actually closing off the airway. If the head is forward and we're trying to do that as a strategy to open the airway, shoving it back actually makes it harder to breathe because it's not respecting how the airway is in relationship to the rest of the body and how they're influencing each other. Simply just trying to shove the head back is trying to address the symptom, not the root cause. We have muscles that are supposed to help us breathe. Our primary breathing muscles are our diaphragm and our intercostal muscles. Now, if these muscles aren't working optimally for whatever reason, then typically what we see is a couple of things. We either see a rib cage that is depressed and down, or we see lower ribs that are flared up. Both are representing slightly different things, but the ultimate idea and the basic fundamental principle is that these muscles are not working well. So what's happening is we have to kick on other muscles, secondary accessory muscles of inhalation, such as our neck, specifically the muscles which are the scalenes and the SCM muscles. So they're trying to elevate the rib cage as a whole, but when these contract, that pulls the head forward as we try to elevate the rib cage. But it doesn't stop there. It also feeds down into the rest of our body. If this is going forward a lot, then what tends to happen is our center of gravity of our upper body is being pulled forward. Now, that requires us to stay back at our lower body. So something that is likely going to happen is the pelvis is either going to tuck under us like this, so that way we don't fall too far forward, our pelvis is going to come under us, or what can happen is we can arch our back a lot more in an attempt to stand ourselves back straight up, but that doesn't fix this problem right here, so you can just have really large spine curves like this. The common theme between both of these postures, whether you're tucked under like this or you're really arched right here, but this is still down, is that you are kind of falling forward. Your center of gravity at some point in your body is really forward. So what we need to do is we need to improve our breathing strategy, but we also need to bring the pelvis into more of a neutral position and stack the head over the rib cage, over the pelvis for a longer term solution. So that way we're not just stuck with this forward center of gravity. If you appreciate understanding the true root causes of postural and movement compensations and dysfunctions, and you want to learn how to finally take ownership of your own body and understand what's going on and understand what you can do to fix it, then check out my upcoming Own Your Body course. It starts in just a couple of days after I release this video, so this is the last chance you have to sign up. I'm designing this course for anyone in the entire world to be able to take it that speaks English and understand exactly what's going on within their posture and what they can do to really start to address the root cause. So if you want to learn more, check it out in the link down below in the description. I feel like I can't talk about forward head posture without mentioning this. If you have really dramatic forward head posture, there could be a lot of other things influencing why you have this in addition to what I'm talking about in this video. One very common thing is your tongue. And I know that sounds weird on the surface, but it's important to appreciate that your tongue should naturally rest at the roof of your mouth. This is its natural home, and that actually allows for a really good management of your airway and airflow. However, if you have something called a tongue tie, meaning that your tongue can't properly rest at the roof of the mouth because the tissues on the underside of the tongue are pulling it down and too restricted, then here's what's gonna happen. You are going to, every time you swallow, every time your tongue tries to go to the roof of your mouth, you're going to pull on the tissues that are on the underside of your tongue that have indirect attachments onto your neck. So when you lift your tongue up, it is going to pull on your neck, and that's going to pull your head forward. And if you have something like this tongue tie, then you need to get that addressed if that's the thing that's causing your forward head posture. That's a big if, but I need to talk about that. So a way that you may be able to tell if you have a significant tongue tie are two things. They're both very general ideas. The first is to take a picture of the roof of your mouth with your phone. And if you have these prominent ridges at the top of your mouth, here's what mine looks like. And now here's what a very rigid roof of the mouth looks like. That means that your tongue likely does not function or sit well at the top of the roof of your mouth. And the reason why those ridges are there is because your tongue isn't sitting up there to smooth that surface out over time. The second thing you do is open your mouth as wide as you can. Try to take the tip of your tongue and touch it between your two front teeth where your teeth meet your gum line. You should be able to do that without your mouth closing at all. If you can't, and you get to the point where your mouth has to close significantly like this, then it's likely that you have some sort of a tongue tie. Now, this isn't something for me to try to fix. This is something you need to go see a qualified myofunctional therapist about. I will link several resources down below in the description of what you can do about this and who to contact. One of my all-time favorite starting exercises for getting the neck to shut off and using the diaphragm better while aligning the spine is this. Get in this 90-90 supported position with your feet up on a bench or a chair and get a towel roll underneath your neck rolled up enough so that way when you're supporting yourself, your chin can perfectly point towards the ceiling. It's nice and neutral. It's not too low, it's not too high. And then place a couple of books off to the side so that way when your arms drop back, they're nice and supported and there's no tension anywhere within your upper back or your neck. So the height will vary here. So elbow directly out here, elbow directly out here, let them fall back 100% relaxed. Now what you're gonna do is make sure everything in your body is chill. Take a nice long full exhale through your mouth until you feel your low rib cage come down and a little bit of your side abs engage. Now what you're gonna do is pause. And then you're going to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth and cover that surface area. And then you're going to silently, fully inhale through your nose, never, ever, ever, ever engaging your neck, but fully enough to where you feel your chest expand. So it looks like this. Arms back, relax, exhale. Do you see how my chest rose? But I was keeping my side abs engaged, my rib cage down. This was using my diaphragm without using my neck right here. Do this for 2 sets of about 5 to 8 breath cycles, nice and controlled. If you feel like your ribs really want to poke up and you have that posture, just drag down with your heels into that thing a little bit to flatten out your low back. You're going to feel little hamstrings engaged, that's good, and then do everything else the same. For this next one, all you need to do is lay on the floor. You don't need any equipment, and this is a drill I got from Gary Ward of Anatomy in Motion. This next one is more of a dynamic exercise, which is going to align your spine curves and move them as they should through inhalation and exhalation, just in an exaggerated way. So what we're gonna do is just get in this position with our hands on our low ribs, again, chin pointed up at the ceiling. Now, what we're going to do when we inhale is we're going to arch our back and drop our chin a little bit. Never at the cost of dropping our chin literally to the point where we can't breathe, but it should be just a little bit of downward movement, still keeping our airway open. And then we're gonna exhale through our mouth as we flatten out our back and tip our chin slightly further back than that starting position. So it looks like this. Do that for about 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets, nice and slow and controlled. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment down below as to what you think. I'd love to hear from you.